Nation News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Matt O'Donnell, Tamala Edwards, Karen Rogers, and meteorologist David Murphy.
We're working on a breaking news story on this Thursday, April 23rd. A robber picks the wrong guy to hold up on a Philadelphia street. The victim was walking his dog and just so happens to be a police officer.
A sinkhole situation just got worse for that family living near the edge of that crumbling cliff in South Jersey.
And the tough-talking Tennessee jurist known as the Southern Judge Judy scolds a reputed gang member. You will hear it.
And that's going viral. Good morning. It is 4:30 now here on this Thursday morning. Let's go on over to meteorologist David Murphy and to Matt Pellman, who's in for Karen Rogers. Good morning.
Boy, we had some strong wind gusts yesterday. We actually had a 71-mile-per-hour gust at Philadelphia International Airport. Not a lot of thunderstorms, but those gusts we were looking for certainly panned out. A couple of trees down here or there, but we dodged any major widespread damage. Now today we're on the lookout for some cooler air coming in. In fact, you can see how the precipitation out in western Pennsylvania is actually snow right now instead of rain. By the time it gets here, by the time it gets here, it's going to be just some sprinkles and showers, mainly in the northern suburbs today. But how about 45 as you get outside this morning in Philadelphia, 43 in Wilmington, just 39 degrees in Allentown, 43 in Millville, and there is a bit of a breeze blowing that is making it feel chilly. Heading out the door to catch the bus this morning. Well, that's an interesting way to display that, but we are going to be in the 41 to 43 degree range. Partly cloudy skies for the bus stop. 45 on your Storm Tracker 6 app right now, 43 by 8, and then we do get up to the 50s, but only 55 for a high this afternoon. A couple of issues to talk about. There's a freeze watch in effect across many of the suburbs for tonight and again Saturday night, or I should say Friday night into Saturday morning. And we want you to protect those sensitive plants, bring them in or cover them up. It's actually a warning up in northern Bucks and Montgomery and up in the Lehigh Valley. And also the pollen count easing back a little bit today in the wake of that rain, but going back up tomorrow to the medium-high range. Matt Pellman, what are roads looking like early?
Oh, so it's February 23rd, right?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, wait, no. It's April 23rd. And snow in western PA, that's crazy.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's really nice. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. We're trying to stay warm this morning by staying in the tunnels here along the Vine Street Expressway, where you can see we've got some flashing lights because, not surprisingly, we've got some road work going on in the westbound lanes of 676 between Broad Street and the Ben Franklin Parkway. Traffic kind of weaving around through the construction zone to get through the cones here this morning, headed out toward the Schuylkill Expressway. But the road is open. It's just restricted. Hopefully, though, the crews will be out of here shortly. You see them on the move right now. We're going to have extra traffic on the Vine as well as the Schuylkill and the Ben Franklin Bridge this morning because, yes, indeed, the Penn Relays are back in town. It is that time of year again. This is 95 by Cotman Avenue. No overnight construction here. We're looking good. Traffic moving in both directions on the Schuylkill and the Boulevard. Speeds are nice so far this morning, but a construction warning for you in Haddon Township. Still have that ramp from 130 southbound to 168 blocked until 6 this morning with restrictions on 168 itself. Tam?
Okay, thank you, Matt. And this is breaking overnight. A bandit tried to hold up a man out for a walk with his dog. He chose poorly, though. The crook ended up dodging bullets himself. His target turned out to be an off-duty cop. Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live in Overbrook near the 5800 block of Malvern Avenue with all the breaking details. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Tam. That's right. That officer was off duty. He was not injured in all of this. Police say he had just finished his shift at the 12th District. He was home. He was walking his dog, and this all happened. There were several cars here on this block in Overbrook that were shot in the process of this. Investigators are calling this an attempted robbery. It happened at 11:40 last night here on the 5800 block of Malvern Avenue. And police say the suspect came up behind the off-duty officer while he was out walking his dog. Police say that off-duty officer saw the gun in the suspect's hand and immediately drew his weapon. Police say that officer fired 8 times. The suspect took cover behind a car on Malvern and then fled on foot toward Upland. Law enforcement searched for that suspect from the air and on foot.
We called out the K-9 unit to search the assailant's path of travel to see if he discarded his weapon. We also had the aviation unit out here doing a thermal search of the back alleys to see if the assailant had fled into the back alleys and may have been hiding back there.
Police say they only have a vague description of the suspect, that he had a hoodie pulled over his head. So if you have any surveillance footage or tips for police, Southwest detectives want to hear from you. We're live in Overbrook. Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
Thanks, Catherine. Also developing, a Wilmington firefighter suffered a minor burn while battling a blaze. The flames broke out in the basement of a home on the 300 block of East Lawn Avenue at midnight. Someone inside also suffered a minor injury. The fire spread to a neighboring home before crews placed it under control. When you see breaking news or severe weather, join the action. Email your photos and videos to jointheaction@6abc.com or use the hashtag 6abcaction on social media so you can be a part of Action News.
Police are looking for several young people involved in this wild melee in the SEPTA Spring Garden Station.
The massive after-school brawl happened back on Tuesday. Police say no one, not even the victims, had reported the fight. Actually found out about it when they discovered the video.
Action News reporter Kenneth Moten has the very latest.
Another violent attack inside another SEPTA subway station involving teenagers. This massive fight ignited on the Spring Garden Station platform on the Broad Street line Tuesday around 3 p.m. Students from nearby Ben Franklin High School kicking, punching, falling onto the tracks. SEPTA Transit Police say their officers in the school district already communicate, but now their efforts will increase during what has been a busy spring of senseless after-school acts.
What we're trying to do is identify disorder and acts that are unsafe that we can then share with the school district to prevent big things like this from happening.
Last month, a group of teens viciously attacked a 15-year-old boy at Broad and Locust. A week later, teenagers surrounded a 60-year-old man on the Market Frankfurt line before a 16-year-old sucker punched him. Suspects in both cases were identified and charged. Surprisingly, no reported injuries in this recent fight, but arrests are expected.
We'll be making sure and supporting SEPTA that there are criminal charges in addition to anything else we will do in the school level regarding this incident.
Community College of Philadelphia student Edward Bush says charges may deter others, but they don't solve the problem.
More education, less incarceration, and maybe involvement, you know what I mean? And as far as maybe CCP or any other colleges that wanted to mentor the teens in high school.
Investigators have identified at least 2 victims from Tuesday's attack, and they're working on getting names of all the teens involved. SEPTA says it has about 10 hot spots on the system where more school and transit police officers will be deployed after school. Reporting in Spring Garden, Kenneth Moten, Channel 6 Action News.
A woman accused of deserting her disabled son could return to Philadelphia to face charges as early as today. Officials in Maryland released this photo of Nia Parler to Action News. Parler allegedly abandoned her quadriplegic son in the Cobbs Creek woods, leaving him with only a blanket and a Bible earlier this month. She went to Maryland to visit a boyfriend, and that's where she was arrested. Parler will be extradited to Philadelphia to face a charge of attempted murder. Philadelphia police are investigating how heroin ended up in the hands of a first grader in North Philadelphia. Police say the boy brought more than a dozen packets of the drug to William Cramp Elementary on Tuesday. After showing the drugs around the lunchroom, investigators say he then tossed the narcotics into the trash. 2 older students told adults what was going on. 4 children who had handled the drugs were evaluated at the hospital. They're all fine. No charges have been filed, but an investigation is still going on.
Let's head to the big board here. The news just keeps getting worse for the owners of a home in Florence Township, Burlington County. Their backyard has been collapsing right into the Delaware River. The action cam at a safe distance taking these pictures here. Engineers have told them it is no longer safe to stay in that home. Chris and Lynn Odell were ordered to evacuate the home on East Front Street yesterday. They fear their house and one next door are in danger of sliding into the Delaware River. Both sit on a hilltop right along the banks below. This news, as you can imagine, was heartbreaking.
When we walk away, we could be walking away for good and losing everything. That's hard to take. But by the same token, you know, we're both still standing here, grace of God, and you know, we haven't gone over, and you know, and they're finding us at the bottom of the cliff.
The Odells say their backyard and their next door neighbors has been slowly collapsing for about 2 years, and then on Monday the heavy rains came, making it much worse. On that same day, engineers discovered that a capped-off storm sewer drain, once maintained by Burlington County, was leaking underground, and they believe that has been undermining the soil.
go for them. Thank you, Matt. Happening today, the Penn Relays will get underway. It is the nation's oldest and largest track and field event. The Penn Relays have been going strong now for more than 100 years. And believe it or not, one of the contestants this year is nearly 100 himself. Look at him. 94-year-old George Scott of Warminster is training for the 100-meter dash this Saturday. We caught up with the great-grandfather yesterday in Doylestown. Look, 94, he looks great.
Runs faster than a lot of people that are 34. Yeah, way to go. 4:40 now, and coming up, more news stories you didn't see last night. A convicted sex offender who is on parole is accused of stealing a school bus and driving around a town in Utah trying to pick up kids.
And we'll explain why an Australian online marketplace has recalled a massive number of condoms. David.
It is a chilly one out there this morning and staying that way this afternoon. I think the hoods are up on the sweatshirts, maybe even a little heavier coat on the way in. And then this afternoon, still windy and cool. I have your day planner forecast for you, and we'll see when we can improve temperatures. That's coming up.
So are some places in the 30s right now?
Up north,
Yeah.
in Allentown, upper 30s, Poconos. Overnight tonight, and then again overnight into Saturday morning. Freeze watch, isn't that nice? Sometimes you get that in April, but oh man. All right, Storm Tracker 6 Live double scan, and we are dry this morning. Might be a little sprinkle popping through up north. We'll talk more about that in a moment. That's later on today. As we take a look outside, looks like partly cloudy skies over the airport. Wind's not really doing too much right now, although overall, as we go through the day, it does look like it's probably going to be fairly blustery. Your temperature is cool this morning, 45 degrees. We've got a wind out of the west at 8 miles per hour, making it feel a little bit cooler. So a little bit of a bundler this morning. As we take a look at Future Tracker 6, we are looking at partly cloudy skies over on. You can see how temperatures really stay in the 40s and 50s through the day. By noon in the Poconos, there might be even a little bit of a snow shower mixing with some rain, but around here, just a couple of sprinkles up north. And Future Tracker actually pulling some of this farther south as we go into the late afternoon and evening hours, but I think the best chance of any sprinkles and showers are mainly north. Maybe some of you down south see it. Obviously, this is not a big deal in terms of rain. Temperatures today, well, here we go. 43 degrees by 8, 50 by 11 o'clock, and we talked about how today was going to be cooler. Still looks that way. 54 degrees by 2 o'clock with a high of 55 around 3. We'll probably sit on that for a couple of hours and then still be holding a similar number by 5 o'clock. Partly sunny skies, couple of little passing sprinkles here or there that don't really matter all that much. High temperatures, not a big range, a little cooler up in Allentown where we'll see about 52, 53 in Reading, 54 in Trenton, and then down the shore somewhere in the mid to upper 50s right down along the ocean. And it will build into a windy day. Speaking of day, the Phillies play day baseball with that rubber match against the Marlins. Partly sunny and chilly, 54 for the first pitch, 55 in the ninth inning. A good looking day with partly sunny skies, but bundle up for that business person special this afternoon at Citizens Bank Park. And it stays kind of cool for the next several days. We've been mentioning the Penn Relays start today, and you can see 56 degrees and breezy conditions today. Pretty much the same story on Friday, and Saturday getting up to about 60. We'll have a fair amount of sunshine, but it will still be cool. That probably isn't bad for the runners, although it will be kind of breezy the next couple of days, and we'll see whether or not that has an impact. Your exclusive AccuWeather 7-day, windy and chilly today, a high of 55, partly sunny skies overall. A little sprinkle or shower at times, especially in northern areas. 56 degrees, still windy and chilly tomorrow, and then there's that sunny high of 60 on Saturday, still breezy. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. Might be a little bit of rain in the morning. Otherwise, 62 degrees. And then Monday, we transition back to partly sunny skies with a high of 64. And it looks like we hold more or less in the mid-60s through Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday looks to be a gray day with some showers possible. Possible.
Which means stay tuned.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, David. New this morning here, a paroled sex offender in Huntington, Utah is accused of stealing a school bus and then trying to pick up a child. Police say 30-year-old Patrick Fredrickson boarded the bus and found a list inside containing names and directions. When he tried to pick one child up, a father stepped in. Police arrested Fredrickson as he was headed to another child's house. Then, while in jail, police say Fredrickson broke a water pipe and flooded his cell.
Good morning. At the big board to take that first look at business, Home Depot says it is doing something different if you're going to show up and look to buy vinyl flooring. They're going to be selling it now with no phthalates. That's a chemical that makes that flooring flexible so you can put it down more easily, but it's considered to be dangerous to children who can be exposed as they play on the floor. and it may be just as well for the rest of us. Phthalates are also possibly carcinogenic. Groupon Australia is recalling condoms. They say that they're counterfeit. That's a problem. The sale included several brands of Durex condoms only sold in Australia. Many of them had serious flaws, including holes in the latex. If you wondered why maybe more birth there in Australia, now we may know why. Turning to Wall Street, stocks finished higher on Thursday, and right now futures look like they are pointing to a lower open. Amazon is teaming up with Audi for something really kind of different and cool. If you are a premium Prime customer, you could soon have the option of having packages delivered to your car. The trial run starts in Germany next month and could expand if successful. We like it because you get everything in 2 days. Imagine you order and you're just
well, that's good if you're quote unquote living in your car, as I know some people do, traveling for business and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. 4:48. Here what a Tennessee judge known as the Southern Judge Judy had to say to a man charged with attempted murder. It took a known gangbanger about 2 seconds to realize he had mouthed off to the wrong person behind the bench.
New video of a volcano in southern Chile has erupted twice after being dormant for nearly half a century. We'll show you the pictures when Action News comes right back.
Good morning. It is World Book Day, and so far today our story is a pretty good one on the roadways as we look live at the Vine Street Expressway. Looking good. That overnight construction that we showed you last time around has cleared out, so all the westbound lanes of 676 are reopened now between this point at Broad Street and the Ben Franklin Parkway. You're good to go on 676, but we expect extra volume here on the Schuylkill and right here on our Good Buddy Ben this morning, thanks to those Penn relays. And yesterday morning, we were talking about this new work zone on the westbound side of the Ben Franklin Bridge, just out of the toll plaza here in Camden. They've got the right lane blocked. But the good news is, once you get beyond this point toward the midspan, all 4 lanes will be open once again. So this didn't really cause abnormal delays yesterday. We'll see what it's like today with the Penn relays traffic. If you're coming eastbound into Camden on the Admiral Wilson Boulevard at Federal Street, watch out for construction in the right lane till 6. And we also have a work zone on the AC Expressway westbound headed toward the 42 freeway meetup. That too is blocking the right lane until 6 a.m. Tam?
Okay, thank you, Matt. New video this morning shows the ash cloud billowing out from the Calbuco volcano in southern Chile. It erupted twice yesterday after being dormant for more than 42 years. Authorities evacuated at least 1,500 people, and schools nearby canceled their classes. Calbuco is considered one of the top 3 most potentially dangerous volcanoes among Chile's 90 active volcanoes.
Happening today, the Senate is finally expected to vote on the confirmation of Loretta Lynch as U.S. Attorney General. The federal prosecutor would become the first Black woman to hold the post. Her confirmation has been delayed for months over battles between Republicans in the White House. GOP Senate leaders had insisted on passing anti-trafficking legislation first, which was snarled by a division on abortion funding. That was approved yesterday.
4:53 now, all new in the next half hour of Action News. More fallout in the shooting and killing of an unarmed teenager in Ferguson, Missouri that sparked national protests.
A little girl made the First Lady's day with a surprise compliment. Hear it next. New on Action News, a Tennessee judge didn't mince words when facing a defendant who was in court on an attempted murder charge.
I don't think you want to say a word to me, Mr. Smith.
O'Shea Smith told Judge Lila Statham that he shot a rival gang member for being in his hood last month. The judge told him that the housing project where the shooting took place belonged only to the hardworking people who lived there. Judge Statham says she wanted to show Smith that the courtroom was an area he could not intimidate or control. Good Morning America will have more on Judge Statham and her tongue lashing. It starts right after Action News.
Today is Take Our Sons and Daughters to Work Day. The White House celebrated a day early. The First Lady invited children from D.C. Child and Family Services and kids whose parents work at the White House. Mrs. Obama also took questions from the crowd.
How old are you? I'm 51. What does that mean? What's that look? Say that again. Give her the mic.
For a 51-year-old.
What was that, babe? I didn't hear you.
You're too young for a 51-year-old.
Yeah, I'd put it on repeat too. The First Lady clearly enjoyed that response and invited that little girl on stage for a big hug.
Kids say the darndest things.
And sometimes really good things like that.
4:57 and developing this morning. Shots ring out in a Philadelphia neighborhood overnight. They came from an off-duty officer's gun who was being held up. A live report is coming up.
Gusty winds take down trees and power lines in parts of our area and usher in quite a chilly change to your AccuWeather forecast. David Murphy will have more details on how much longer you're going to need an extra sweater.